Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from and what time it is there. That way, YouTube will keep showing you more stories like this. Now, let's begin.
I'm Martin, 33 years old, living in Houston, USA. I have a job with a high income in exchange for a busy work schedule. I've experienced many hotels from budget to luxury, but my hotel experience during a business trip to New York 3 years ago still haunts me. I arrived at the budget hotel at 11 p.m. I didn't have much time to choose a place to stay. The receptionist told me there was only one room left in Area B. There were 2 rooms on that floor. She told me to avoid disturbing the room with the red sign, S1302 next to it, because that was the place the young couple rented for a fixed period of 1 month. I was very tired after a long flight, so I didn't pay attention to that room. I had a 4-day business trip here. The first night went smoothly. I slept very well. The next day, I finished work and returned to the hotel at 8 p.m. After showering and changing into comfortable pajamas, I lay on the bed to relax. Suddenly, giggles rang out in the next room, which was the young couple's room. Then there were moans. They were probably having fun. I put on headphones, turned on the music quite loudly, and fell asleep after that. On the 3rd night, screams and slightly crazy laughter rang out, startling me awake. Looking at the phone clock, it was 12 o'clock. I'm quite uncomfortable because work is stressful all day long, so I really need to get enough sleep. I called the front desk to complain and wanted them to remind the couple to limit such noises. I regret renting a hotel with such poor soundproofing quality. It took 10 minutes for the laughter to stop, and it took me a long time to fall asleep again. The next day I felt tired and went to meet my business partner. The last night I returned to the hotel at 10 p.m. Tomorrow morning I will go home to rest. But this last night was truly more terrible than the previous nights. Because I had drunken a lot of coffee during the day, I have difficulty sleeping. It was nearly 11 o'clock when I heard footsteps running in the hallway. Why are they still making noise when I already responded to the receptionist? I approached the door, intending to directly remind the couple because they were outside anyway. But as soon as I opened the door and walked out, a woman wearing a thin nightgown covering her feet, long black hair hanging down, eyes staring lifelessly. In her hand, she held a sharp, dirty knife straight towards me. I immediately retreated into my room and avoided it. She still maintained that position and ran past. I followed her with my eyes, even though I was very scared. She suddenly stopped, twisted her neck, and made a cracking sound and looked straight back at me. I panicked and quickly locked the door. My whole body trembled. My mind was dizzy and panicked. I was about to call the receptionist when there was a knock on my door. I felt like my heart lost a beat. It took me a few seconds to calm down, but that knocking sound continued. I held my breath, slowly turned around and looked through the peephole. What caught my eye was the image of the woman just standing and staring at the door. The creepy smile on her thin face sent chills down my spine. I didn't know what to do next. Suddenly, a man's loud, angry scream rang out. Then his arm held something and swung it strongly towards the woman. Blood caught on my door, covering the peephole, a dark red color and a fishy smell. I covered my mouth tightly, not daring to scream. I don't remember whether I walked or crawled to the hotel desk phone. I tried my best to put it into words. I asked the receptionist, the security guard, the manager, anyone, to come to my room immediately. The hotel manager and staff were present, and nearby tenants ran in panic and gossiped. On the floor right in front of my room, a woman lay in a pool of blood. The receptionist confirmed that this is the wife who rented 1302. About 10 minutes later, the police arrived and sealed off the scene. The police asked the receptionist to use the spare key to open the door to room 1302. In the room, there was a horrifying scene with blood, syringes, ropes, sharp knives, and a very strong smell. Lying on the sofa was the body of a man with a long cut on his neck, still bleeding, and a knife clutched tightly in his hand. According to police investigation, the man and woman were Jax and Jesse, their husband and wife. The hotel room is a place they rented to satisfy their drug addiction. The hotel receptionist was also bribed by the couple. Days of constant drug use make them mad and lose all self-control. Jax murdered his wife, and then he went back to his room and committed suicide. I asked the hotel to move me to another room and booked my plane ticket for the earliest flight home. I'm Sophia, 33 years old. My husband is Liam, 34 years old. My husband and I live in New York. We've been married for 4 years but have not planned to have children. I'm a successful woman with a high-paying job. Lately, I've been so busy with work that my husband and I haven't had much time to spend together. I felt Liam's coldness. On a 5-day business trip to California, I told Liam to arrange work to go with me. Both a business trip and a trip for the couple to warm up their relationship. But Liam seemed very hesitant about that suggestion, and I had to try to convince him. We rented a room at a luxury hotel near Coronado Beach. During the day, I will go handle work, leaving Liam at the hotel to explore everything around. Only at night do we have time for each other. Creepy things at this hotel begin to happen. The first night, I was startled awake when I heard the sound of water running in the toilet. It was about 12 o'clock. I think the hotel's water system has a problem. The sound of running water stopped for about 2 minutes. I was also quite tired after a day of work, so I went back to sleep right after. But on the second night, I heard a knocking sound coming from the closet door. At that time, I couldn't sleep because I was reviewing documents to send to my partner. That knocking sound followed by the rhythm of 3 consecutive sounds with a pause between each time. My heart beat faster with each knock. I'm a very shy person, so I didn't dare go up to see what was inside the cabinet. Hurriedly jumping onto the bed, I tried to shake Liam vigorously. But my husband sleeps very soundly. No matter what, he doesn't wake up. The knocking stopped. I was scared and covered myself with the blanket, hugged Liam tightly and tried to close my eyes to sleep. Things haven't stopped yet. On the third night, I woke up in the middle of the night. Turning to the side, I couldn't see Liam anywhere. I called Liam with no response. I ran to the bathroom and couldn't find him. I was scared and turned on all the lights in the room. I picked up the phone and called Liam many times, but the phone said it couldn't be reached. The clock showed it was after 2 a.m., checking that Liam's room card and shoes were still there. I panicked. I didn't dare sleep alone in the room anymore. I quickly ran down to the reception hall to sit. Unable to sleep all night, I went up to my room feeling tired and exhausted at 7 a.m. When I entered the room, I was startled to see Liam sleeping soundly on the bed. I called Liam up and asked him where he went last night and when he returned to his room. Liam looked at me blankly. I slept in the room all night last night. What's wrong with you? I fell into a state of shock. What the hell is going on? Could it be that I'm being blinded by a ghost? I shuddered at that thought. That day I took a break because my mind was too stressed and I couldn't stay awake. Liam wanted to go out for a walk on the beach for a while and told me to rest. I lay in bed listening to relaxing music. After a while, the knocking sound came again. I jumped up in surprise and stared towards the wardrobe. Slowly getting out of bed, I gently walked to the wardrobe. It was around 10 a.m. I was no longer afraid, but instead felt angry. I wanted to see what the hell was haunting me these past few nights. I opened the closet door really hard, but inside were just 2 bathrobes and nothing else. I was bewildered, not understanding what was going on when the knocking sounded again. It comes from the left corner of the cabinet. I reached out and gently pushed the corner of the cabinet. The wooden panel opened up to another quite large space. I was startled and screamed loudly when I saw someone, and the people inside were also startled and screamed loudly when they saw me. After calming down, I asked that person to step out. It was a young girl with a hot body and a very thin nightgown. She tried to run away but was immediately controlled by me. I called and told Liam to go to his room immediately. I tried to stay as calm as possible when listening to the explanations from my bad husband. The other girl has been his lover for nearly 3 months, traveling with his wife, but he insisted on taking her with him. The sound of running water that first night was because she couldn't hold it in anymore and decided to use the bathroom. The rhythmic tapping sound coming from the closet is their sign when calling each other. The night Liam disappeared was to crawl into the closet to sleep with his lover. Returning home, I immediately filed for divorce. The lawsuit and evidence of adultery, asking Liam for a large amount of compensation, making him miserable. I have to thank the hotel with its unique design for helping me recognize Liam's deceitful face.
I am Jordan, a tall guy who has lived with a feminine soul since I was 12. Fortunately, my family and loved ones have easily adapted to and accepted this. My best friend Lily is a beautiful girl. I love her brown skin and radiant smile. Lily isn't a celebrity, but she has significant influence on social media. With a steady following, she frequently receives free services. Although Lily's main job is full-time, Instagram is just a hobby for her, a way to enjoy perks from brands. Free cosmetics, beauty services, delicious meals, and fun activities are the benefits she receives from her side work. I feel very lucky to have a friend like Lily, who always shares these wonderful experiences with me. In 2018, during the Memorial Weekend, a small hotel in Miami contacted Lily through Instagram and offered to sponsor a free trip. She would stay at the hotel, take photos, and post a few stories on Instagram to promote it. In the contract they sent to Lily, there was a clause requiring her to pay for the flight ticket up front, and the hotel would reimburse her once she arrived. This time, Lily invited me to join because the contract stated that she could bring a friend along. Lily generously promised that if the hotel didn't pay for my flight, she would do it, so there was no reason for me to refuse. When we arrived in Miami, a man holding a sign with Lily's name and the hotel's logo was waiting at the airport. He led us to a black SUV, and that's when things started to get strange. The driver was a rather intimidating man with a large build, sunglasses, and a heavy voice. As we settled into the car, he suddenly became agitated. He demanded that Lily not bring a boyfriend but go with another girl, stating that it was a condition of the hotel. Both Lily and I were shocked and confused. The man who picked us up at the airport and the driver started arguing in a language we couldn't understand, making everything even more bizarre. Finally, the driver threw our luggage out of the car and sped off. Shocked, Lily immediately sent a message to Melissa, the hotel's PR manager, to tell her what happened. After 20 minutes of waiting in the airport lobby without any response, we decided to take a taxi to the hotel, but when we got there, we were shocked for the second time. The hotel we had planned to stay at had been renamed and was under completely different ownership. The hotel's Instagram account still existed, but when we compared it with the photos and posts on the account, everything seemed outdated. Lily felt deceived and couldn't stop crying from the embarrassment. With no other choice, we called the police. After an investigation, the detective confirmed that the hotel's Instagram account had been hacked and used to scam influencers like Lily. The police couldn't trace who was behind it, as all information regarding the former manager of the account led to dead ends. We were completely confused. Could someone have intentionally planned to lure girls like Lily into a dangerous trap? We decided to book a different hotel and stay in Miami for a few more days. But those thoughts kept haunting both me and Lily, making the trip no longer enjoyable. I became more worried when I thought that if Lily hadn't brought me along, would she have been the next target of the villain? It was terrifying to think that one small mistake could have led to something far worse. The hotel's Instagram account was later deleted, but we never received any information from them. Everything went silent, which made us even more anxious about what might have happened behind our backs. The fear still hasn't let go. Today, looking back at everything, we feel that luck truly smiled upon us. I'm Allison, 18, top of my class, and supposedly all set for college. At least that was what my parents, teachers, and friends all thought. What they didn't know was that 6 months ago, after a messy night with Dylan, the quarterback, and my ex, I had been hiding something huge. My blue prom dress was loosened up after I told my mom I was stress eating from exam pressure, but it was still squeezing my stomach so tight I could barely breathe. That night was prom night. The flashing lights on the hotel dance floor were making my head spin a bit. The mix of heavy perfume and booming music was making me feel sick, but I kept forcing a smile. The first pain hit while I was dancing with Lucy, my best friend. It was like a sharp contraction tearing through my lower body, locking me up completely. I stopped dancing, trying to catch my breath. "Allison, are you okay?" Lucy looked really worried. "Yeah, I'm just tired," I said, lying through my teeth while another wave of pain started creeping in. "I think I should go outside to get some air." I pushed through the crowd. No way, there were still 3 weeks left. Another wave hit, even worse this time, and I had to grab the wall just to stay on my feet. Something wet started running down my leg. Completely freaking out, I bolted into the ladies' room at the end of the hallway. Luckily, it was empty. I locked the door to the last stall and sat down. Red liquid was pouring down my legs, making a little puddle on the floor. The next pain came fast, so strong I had to bite my lip to keep from screaming. Not now, not here. Hands shaking, I pulled out my phone but had no idea who to call. My parents? They didn't even know I was pregnant. An ambulance? Then the whole school would find out. Dylan? He was out there dancing with his new girlfriend. Time felt like it froze as another wave of pain slammed into me, even worse than before. I couldn't stop the groan that came out of my throat. A crushing pressure built up and I clenched my teeth, pushing hard without even thinking. My phone slipped out of my hand and hit the floor as I grabbed the toilet seat, my whole body shaking from the pain. The next contraction hit like a tsunami, totally taking over. It felt like my whole body was ripping apart. Sweat was soaking the back of my dress, and my hands kept slipping on the toilet seat. The pain was worse than anything I'd ever felt or even imagined. More than anything, I wanted my mom here with me right now. I clenched my teeth again, feeling something shift inside me. A wave of unbearable pressure, then a sudden slide that knocked the air out of my lungs. And then I saw the head, the shoulders, the rest of the body. Finally, a tiny whole body slid out. It just lay there between my legs, still attached by the umbilical cord, small and pale. I reached out and touched it, felt the soft, cold skin. There was no cry, no movement. "No, no, please, no," I whispered, picking up the baby. I patted its back, rocked it, did everything my instincts were screaming at me to do. But those little eyes never opened. This awful emptiness just swallowed me whole. The fear had turned into straight-up panic. People would find out, they'd know everything. All my plans, all my dreams, everything I was working toward, it would all be gone. My eyes scanned the bathroom and landed on the little trash can next to the toilet. There was a black plastic bag inside. Without thinking, without even feeling, I just tried to move gently. My vision blurred with tears as I tied the bag. I moved like a robot, wiping myself with toilet paper, trying to get rid of any trace. The music from the ballroom was still thumping through the walls. I unlocked the stall door and stumbled out. I washed my hands, touched up my makeup. Back in the ballroom, I held my tiny purse in front of my dress to cover the bloodstains and made my way to the exit. Just get out of here and go home. But I didn't even make it that far. A scream echoed from the bathroom I'd just come out of. One of the cleaning ladies had found it, and the whole place started buzzing. Someone was yelling for the cops. I couldn't move. Everything around me was spinning. I saw people staring at me, then down at the blood on the bottom of my dress that my little purse wasn't hiding anymore. I looked down and saw tiny drops of blood on the carpet, making a trail from where I stood all the way back to the bathroom. I heard police sirens blaring outside. Lucy's face popped up in the crowd, her eyes wide with shock when she saw my dress. "Allison, is that blood?" The lights above me felt blinding. All the sounds around me started warping. The floor felt like it tilted under me, and then everything went black. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed. A cop was standing at the foot of the bed, and my parents were right next to me, their faces pale and streaked with tears. My mom was holding my hand, but I didn't feel anything. "Why did you go through all this alone?" I just stared at the ceiling, the image of holding the baby and feeling his cold skin playing over and over in my head. The cop was saying something, but I wasn't listening. I heard the cop's voice, words like suspect, criminal investigation, trial, just floating in the air. But none of it meant anything to me anymore. They were just distant, hollow echoes. As sunlight started flickering through the hospital window, it hit me that prom was over. But it wasn't just prom. Everything I'd ever dreamed of was over too.